Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 385. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero. Yo. Adam Vale.
How you doing?
And Brian Manjoma.
What up?
All right, man. Back with another one. As usual, Brett will show up if he shows up whenever. You know how that goes.
He's probably getting back from the con or something like that. So you probably won't see him.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We'll probably ask him how it went on the next show.
On the Thursday show, yes. All right. What's going on to everybody in the chat right now? We may. By the way, Barry, I hope you're around because the chat may get a little crazy. Some uninvited guests after what happened today. Oh man,
what they do, Ray?
Oh, you'll find out right now. All right, we're gonna get right into it, people. All right. First up here, Tumeke, who I believe is joining us in the chat tonight. So shout out to you, brother. Blitz, there he is. He's Blitz over here. So his question is: I see headlines going around stating that Microsoft is involved in paying off reviewers. And while there has been a history of this with the Machinima debacle a few years ago, surely they are not dumb enough to do it again. What are your thoughts? All right, so we got to take things back a little bit.
Well,
go ahead, Adam.
Point out, this is the shit that I laugh about, especially now with Twitch and all this stuff. You got all these streamers that are clearly saying that they're being paid to advertise games, and no one gives them shit. And they're getting paid thousands. I mean, one dude came out, he got paid $10,000 to play one weekend of Apex Legends.
Yeah.
So those motherfuckers are making the money.
Those guys are making money, yeah, for sure. So anyway,
and they're
go ahead.
About it.
Yeah, they are.
I don't get what.
Yeah, they are open about it, but apparently, so let me give you some context. So apparently, and you guys in the chat will let me know because I literally just learned about this today after the drama that happened. Apparently, the FTC is cracking down more on influencers, saying you need to be disclosing if you're getting paid or not, right? So that was going on. And then yesterday, I believe it was, so our boy Gene Park talking about how he's unsubscribing for Xbox Game Pass, right? And I had already been thinking about this for a while because I had like a year long thing of Game Pass that expired last month. And I'm like, I don't use this thing. I should probably, unsubscribe. I saw Gene do it. I'm like, okay, you know what?
You're thinking of doing it too, right?
I'll go ahead and do it too, right? So I said on Twitter, I unsubscribe, right? Got a little bit of heat, whatever, right? But this is what happened today. People saw the FTC thing and the Game Pass thing going, oh, I know what's happening. These influencers are unsubscribing from Game Pass because they don't want it to be known that Microsoft was paying them off. Yeah.
Okay. So do they see you as an influencer?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
So videos were made with me and Gene and Paris because Paris caught straight bullets off of this shit. Several videos, long Twitter spaces about this, basically saying that, all the people that had been paid off by Microsoft are now trying to backtrack because they don't want the FTC to come after them. I'm not making this up. They're videos.
Wow.
Okay. What did the FCC get out of this?
FTC.
Yeah, what do they get?
Well, they're a regulatory body. They have to make sure.
But they don't get anything out of it. There's nothing out of what? Oh, so let's say somebody gave you $5 for something. Is that what they come out?
It's the thing about it is that in general it's just to combat false advertising and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, these idiots put these two things together. They're seeing that Tony apparently see Tony as an influencer more than he actually than an actual.
I'm not an influencer at all.
Did you tell anybody that you were canceling?
Yeah, I said it on Twitter.
Posted on Twitter.
Then there you go.
The thing is, they connected these two things together. Understand?
I would do that too.
I
would do it too.
Yeah, they're fucking idiots.
The timing looks suspicious.
Yeah, but it's like yo, if you know me, bro, I still live in the fucking projects. I'm getting paid by these companies. Get out of here with that bullshit.
They don't know. They don't know that.
So I just thought that was hilarious. But then, You know what? I'll say their names. They said my fucking name, right? I could say their name, right? So there's this one dude named the Dreamcast guy made a video that had my tweet. So he butchered my last name. I could forgive that. He couldn't get my first name right. Apparently I'm Tommy.
Tommy Polanco?
Yeah, no, he couldn't even get that part right. You know.
So how do we know it's even you then? If you can't get the first one,
no, because he had my tweet.
He had the tweet.
He screen capped and all that. You know, and then this other guy, Marlon something, one of Hip Hop Gamers boys. He at least got my first name right. That's because I had met him in real life. You know, but he said Tony Polanco. Where's the S? Where's the S in the name?
Polanco? These people are making up names for you now, man.
Yeah.
Look at how.
So I find that funny.
It's not that hard of a fucking name, man.
It's not at all, you know. And here's the I'm gonna sound fucked up right now. I can forgive white people for getting the last name right because they have a hard time spelling, you know, like pronouncing last names with a vowel in it that isn't a Y. I get that, you know, like foreign names to be exact. But like, come on, man, it's kind of silly. But I just find it hilarious how the conspiracy people were just kind of running wild with this stuff. You know, it's like, you know how much money I've made off of companies paying me? $0.00. I've never been paid.
Well,
I'm not an influencer. You know,
That's what I'm saying.
I wish I was paid. I need money. You know,
that's the shit I don't understand. I don't get it. If these people, they know these influencers openly say, we saw the numbers of these guys and the money that they're making. Some of them making in the millions for shit.
Yeah.
And no one goes after them. And it's like they're praising this game and they're playing it and openly saying, hey, by the way, you're enjoying this. You watch me. They paid me millions of dollars to tell you this and to play this game. And no one gets pissed. But if they even hear a rumor that maybe anybody got any kind of money from a publication, how dare they do that? What are they doing? They're trying to control my views on things. I'm like, you're supporting all these other motherfuckers.
It's hilarious because like the situation, like that one situation that happened with the GameSpot, right? And that has literally colored the whole industry.
Yeah, actually,
the whole industry.
But the one that's more relevant to this one is like Tumeke said, the thing with Machinima. It actually was found out that Microsoft was paying them. But they didn't disclose it. That's the problem. They didn't disclose it.
Yeah, because part of YouTube's thing is that it's like if you're sponsored, you have to say it in the beginning of the thing. Like this video was sponsored by blah 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 blah, right? And that's how you're supposed to know.
I thought with that mission, I thought that was common knowledge because when Xbox One launched, that was like one of the first apps to launch on there, and they were doing all these exclusive videos. I'm like, they definitely have some kind of partnership going on.
Yeah, they just did disclose that. That was the problem, you know. But again,
in general, the order of business is like if you're sponsored by a thing, you're not supposed to be making like you're supposed to say if you're being sponsored. Like the game theorist, like what he'll do is like if he has like a deal with like he has a deal with Marvel Pictures, all right, and they paid him to do 2 theories on something that's Marvel related. In the beginning of his video, he'll be like, "Oh yes, by the way, this video is sponsored by Marvel, whatever studios or whatever video game that's coming out, and we're doing this Marvel thing." That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like even to the point where like on YouTube where they have like a little cutout in the.
By the way, real quick, Jay Shep, to answer your question, yes, if you're getting sponsorships on a podcast, you have to disclose that too. That's how these things work. You know.
Right, so
exactly.
Here's by the way, I gotta just interject right now. Okay, so with influencers, there's no one's hiding anything. They have to disclose it. No one's hiding anything. And with game reviewers, we can't accept money because that's a breach of ethics. Can't do it, right? And this is why I've always said, if a game journalist is caught taking bribes or whatever, they're going to be fired instantly because you're not allowed to do that. With game influencers, they can because people kind of accept that, So because I saw a comment saying, "Oh, like is that why Microsoft was getting high Metacritic scores?" No game. I'm telling you, I've been in this industry for 10 years. No game journalist gets paid for positive reviews. And if anybody does, they get fired. This isn't fucking like hidden, It's insane to me. And of course, like we talked about before, what game journalist is making money off this shit? Like serious,
If
hardcore
anything, what we've
Scrooge
seen
McDuck money, you
what
know?
we've seen from the history, you can actually get fired for the reverse.
That's what I'm saying. You get
Remember
fired, you
remember the
know?
dude? No, from reverse of not even doing it. From remember GameSpot, the dude that went for Giant Bomb.
Yeah, well,
And
that was
one,
because they
yeah,
fucked
they were
it.
doing
But
advertising
obviously
on
that
the
was
site. He
obviously
shit on the
shady.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shit on the game because the game was no good, and then he got let go.
Yeah, he
because
let
they were
go.
big
And
advertisers.
obviously they GameSpot got a lot of heat for that. And that never
Yeah.
happened again, you know?
Yeah.
So that's just the way it is. That's my point. If something like that does happen, it's exposed really quickly and things are dealt with, right? That's my whole point.
I think the thing also is like I think also what it was part of is because they were also. I don't think it was necessarily the that. I think it was also because they were actually being sponsored. They weren't looking for a good review, but literally their advertisements for Kane and Lynch would show up on their websites, and they had some sort of deal with them. So they probably were like, hey, this is pretty damn harsh.
Yeah.
We
I
should
actually
change
like
this.
Kane and Lynch. I like that one. Remember, we played it. It was good. It's a good co-op
It
game.
was the second one, right? That got the
It was one of them. It was
Yeah.
one of them. It was.
And
It was either one or two.
Yeah. By the way, Elko, a new listener, what's going on, man? He says they did it in the past with Driver 3. Yeah, and when I got exposed, it was bad. It looked bad. That's my whole point.
But you know what?
But again, like Driver 3, how long ago was that? Like 20 years ago?
That's what I'm saying. Dudes are bringing up old shit. The industry has changed. It's not like that anymore, you know?
Look now with all these shootings, the kid that did that shooting, and they go back to playing video games. It's all the same thing. They all go to the old tropes. As soon as something comes up, oh, well, they must be paid off. Oh, it must be the games that's causing kids to go crazy. This is just the way, it's the cycle. It's the cycle.
Yeah, it's insane. Go ahead.
If Microsoft was paying, especially major outlets and major game reviewers,
be bad, dude. Yeah.
it would be bad, but also they'd be doing a shitty job because their games don't get as much praise as other games do.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's why I don't think this is happening. Maybe there's wings, in some places where it's like, oh, like, like Giant. Oh, was it Giant Bomb? I forgot which.
But again, you have to bring that up years ago. Shit that happened fucking
that's been a while
ago.
Well, the only shady practices that I've seen that it's legit and it seems like they're sort of paying is when they fly people out to fancy places, fancy hotels, give them all accommodations. That can cloud a judgment. Right there.
That's here's the thing. And by the way,
they were treating me right.
Yeah.
They're not being disrespectful. And I've seen it where a certain person that I follow, I was like, oh, he's always straightforward with things. And he brought it up. And there was a certain product, and he was like, well, it's not great, and everybody else shit on the product because they had a lot of flaws. He refused to acknowledge these things, but he was open that they flew him out to Europe, and they did all this other stuff. So, yeah, he told everybody the truth. They did find out. But then clearly it clouded his judgment, because I think if they didn't, he would have really pushed on the issues of this, the failures of this device, and he didn't. So I think that plays a part also. But it's not buying him
by
off.
the way, and I'm, as a person who has been flown out to many events, that shit never sways me at all. It's like, oh, thank you for the hotel, thank you for the flight. Your game still sucks. When I was gonna say Konami flew me out to Seattle to review the new Contra game. I gave it a bad review. It was a bad game. I don't give a fuck if they flew me out there, because at the end of let me finish. Because at the end of the day, my reputation would be hurt if I lied about this shit.
And he knows a guy that worked on it.
Yeah.
Me.
Exactly.
That didn't even sway, because to be honest, number one, I don't want, like, as far as any of this stuff goes, just because I'm involved, just because of any of this stuff, I don't have control over the gameplay. I just had the control over the artwork in the game. But I'm not gonna. I don't want people to make any sort of exceptions just because they know the guy they know somebody who actually worked on it.
Yeah. I think, again, just to sum it up real quick, one of the guys who worked on the game, my best friend in the whole world, the PR person, one of my favorite PR people. I got flown to Seattle for the first time, wined and dined, all that shit. I gave that game a bad review because it was a shitty game. By the way, shout out to Manny's cat, but so that stuff does not happen. Like it's just fucking conspiracy theories, for a lot of people. I'm just going to say a lot of ignorant people who think they know how the industry works when they fucking don't, and it's really frustrating. They hear this nonsense. You know?
I don't understand where they think all this money's coming from, and there's no reason for it. If they're paying millions for Twitch streamers to do shit, they don't need to fucking be
Yeah.
going down other little
Or
small
you know,
alleys.
even related, it's like, oh, you get free game codes. You always give good reviews. So I don't. I gave them a lot of bad reviews to games. Like, thank you, but your game's still crap. You know?
See, but,
Yeah,
and then, and
the
then
thing
this
about,
is-
but the thing about it is that like in other words, it's still done professionally. You don't like
Yeah,
utterly
professionally,
bash the game into
obviously,
the ground.
obviously.
you can't, you don't curse and say it's garbage.
No,
but
obviously
you have-
not.
And here's the counter to all that. When people always come off and say, oh, they're getting game codes, this is why they're doing it. It's like, all right, well then look at their review and compare it to others and see if this person is glory, oh, it's the best game fucking ever, and it's getting 2s and 3s from people, then it's suspect. But that's if it's not, then just accept it. People have to. It's no different than movie reviews. Movies get sent out because they need to screeners. They need people to talk about it to get their views out there. So are all they paid off? Is everybody paid off? Same thing with books. I mean, this happens with everything. Music, all of it. This is how things get reviewed and get talked about. They do this not to be nice. They do it to get the word out so they can promote their product. They take that chance if it's going to be good or bad reviews, but they have to put it out there.
Yeah. Oh, here's a Chris. Maybe you could answer this. To make it goes, I'm not from the U.S., but would the FTC get involved if it's not a thing? Why would this even come up as something they are investigating?
Well, anybody can file an FTC complaint, just like anyone could file, like if you trade stocks, could file an SEC complaint against a company, right? Then, if there is a sufficient reason, they'll investigate. If it's bullshit, they won't, right? So there might be either multiple complaints to the FTC about the same issue, and then they decide to open up an investigation. But if it was just one person going, I'm pissed, I'm going to file an FTC complaint. Okay, and maybe they partially look into it and go, and this is bullshit. But if like 100 people complain about the same thing, then like maybe there's something here. Okay, we'll look at it. Right? That doesn't mean there's merit to it. It just means you brigade enough to get them to start it.
Yeah, it's essentially something that the Bible Belt used to do back in the day when they used to not like certain content. They used to file complaints to the government and send thousands and thousands of letters to try to essentially throw a monkey wrench into something. So this situation could just be a bunch of people who don't like the narrative of something saying, no, we want you to be investigated. And then getting their people together to start complaining.
Yeah.
I think the other issue also I don't understand is you said it yourself. A majority of people that follow you are not Xbox fans. They're not fans of the console. So why would anyone even double question you saying, you know what, I'm going to cancel Game Pass? I mean, if you don't really care about the
Yeah,
console,
but you gotta understand because I have a lot of new people that follow me that are like more. There's Sony guys who think I'm an Xbot. Understand? So they're always looking into this stuff, which is again, I'm like, I don't own an Xbox. I just unsubscribed from Game Pass. How am I an Xbox?
How about this? Just change your gamer pick to just your trophies pick and see the platinums. That's it.
Yeah,
and that should answer all the questions.
By the way, that's happened a couple of times. Like, oh, this guy's a fake gamer. Look at his gamer scores. My gamer score is fucking pathetic. It's like 10,000, and then but eventually somebody go, yo, look at his PSN score though. Then
that's what I'm saying. That'll shut them up right there.
Yeah, but I don't even give a fuck about that.
You do because
I don't care.
People that if you're telling people that you're off Game Pass, you're you're volunteering information they don't need to know.
Yeah.
You're doing that. So then go ahead.
No, I said I don't care about whether people think I'm a real gamer. I don't give a shit about that. It's just Listen, I just go out there and I say things to I don't care about that. It's funny to me, man. But I just start conversations because some people go, why did you need to say that? I say a lot of shit.
You said you'd unsubscribe from Netflix too.
Yeah, I did. No one gave me shit about that. Ain't that
Netflix?
something?
No, man, the Netflix, they're coming after you, man. They're coming.
I did say that. I unsubscribed from Netflix. Nobody gave me shit about it. I subscribed to Game Pass. But here's the thing, right? So they don't like it when I'm subscribed to Game Pass. They don't like it when I'm unsubscribed to Game Pass. So I can't win.
You don't win.
Can't win. Can't win.
Yeah. Can't win with anything.
Yeah. Well, it comes sort of with the territory now because there's a lot of people who think that you're pushing their narrative and trying to confirm their biases. So they're in the front line. They think you're in the front lines with them when on one topic, but when they notice that you're not shilling for whatever fucking plastic that they praise, then they turn on you.
Yeah. Oh no, 100% right.
Here's the funny thing is that
religion, politics, it's always this way. Sports, all of it.
Here's the funny thing. It's like you're not taking any sides on any of them. You see what looks good, and then that works. Granted, you say you prefer PlayStation stuff, but in general, you can't deny when something is working out really well for somebody else, right?
Listen,
like, the Game Pass thing seems to be working pretty good. You said that.
Yeah,
but,
many times.
You know.
And here's something I've tweeted and said on the show many times. I've always said Xbox Game Pass is a great service, but it doesn't have any fucking games. Game Pass is basically like the PlayStation Vita. Let's keep it real here. Great piece of technology, no games. It's the same thing, So you could have two different thoughts there. People are too simple-minded. They don't seem to understand that,
What was the last Microsoft exclusive game you reviewed?
I legit don't remember.
There you go.
Yeah, I legit don't remember.
That's it right there. For someone to say, "Oh, well, then you were paid off this time," where? You didn't do the latest Forza. You didn't do the latest Halo. You didn't do any of that shit.
I legit don't remember the last one.
There you go. That's it. Yeah. That's it. So if someone says it, I'm like, all right, so then call me out on it. Which one? Which Microsoft exclusive?
Let me know which one because I forgot.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you were such a sponsored, paid off journalist on this field, then shit, show me the reviews. Show me the glowing reviews of all these latest first party titles that you think that you covered when you did it.
Yeah, it's hilarious, man.
It's bullshit.
Yeah. By the way, who said this? Somebody goes, Tony, say something about Nintendo. No, I learned my lesson. I don't speak about Nintendo on Twitter. I've said this on last week. That shit cost me a job. Those people are vicious. Don't go after Nintendo people. They're brutal. You think the Xbox guys and Sony guys are bad? No. Nintendo guys are the absolute worst. Don't mess with those guys, But yeah,
it's disappointing that people have to come after somebody just because they don't like something that they said.
Yeah. By the way, where is GTA 5 on Switch?
I mean, they just did come out with an HD collection, right? Where's that HD collection on the Switch?
I'm just saying, man. Anyway, let's move on.
Right? Yeah, it's there.
It's there, but where's GTA 5 though?
GTA 5 is not there. The other ones are there.
I'm just saying, man. Anyway, let's move on. We got a bunch of questions tonight.
Hold on, I say.
Uh-oh.
Just a few things. Okay, so although that you guys are saying all these things, you also have to understand the flip side of the coin. Like when you have IGN with the podcast, and I think it was like 3 of them or 4 of them, like on their podcast defending Fallout 4 while wearing Pip-Boys on their arm, things look very suspect. That's, again, like you can say that, okay, people aren't influenced and whatnot, but when you see that, then the questions start to get raised, because then it's like, okay, like these guys, they are clearly saying stuff that's contrary to like the actual game itself.
See, but Brian, those podcasts IGN had, there was a Podcast Beyond, which is all PlayStation. Of course, they're fanboys. They had Xbox 360 fanboy, which later turned into Podcast Unlocked. They are fanboys dedicated. That's expected. I would think it's expected for all.
He's talking about third-party games, but I see where Brian's coming from. Optically, it looks bad.
Yeah, it's not a good look. It's like sitting in a yellow chair and then professing claims about the game being like really great. Again, questions will just arise. Thank you, Carlos. Questions will just flare up because, again, these things just look very suspect because it's like, hold on, what's going on here? So again, like you can sit here and we can say that okay, like people aren't being swayed and whatnot, but that's the thing. Like you guys are not being swayed. But then what about the rest of the people?
Could it just be that they like I'm wearing a Division hat. I generally love the franchise. They're not paying me for this shit. I'm not got an Ubisoft check coming every month for this. I just love the franchise.
There's a difference between loving the franchise and overlooking the flaws of said franchise. Like, I am pretty sure that all of us here can sit down and turn around and say, okay, this is our favorite game in the world, but these are the things wrong with that game. Right?
Has that happened before, though, where, like, a journalist said there's absolutely nothing wrong with this game, even though it's, like, messed up?
I I don't know. I don't follow journals.
Yeah, but
and
that's my
don't
point.
to
That doesn't
subscribe
happen,
to
Brian. That's my
anything.
point. That doesn't happen.
So,
There is
I
no
do-
perfect game.
You can have fanboys, but somebody will call out some of the things, even if they do love it.
Remember those Nintendo games? Was it Odyssey, whatever, that got perfect scores, or was it Breath of the Wild that got
Breath of the
like
Wild?
fucking
Oh,
10
yeah.
out of 10 and shit?
Well, I chalked that up to just Nintendo fanboys, man. I'm just being honest.
Well, I mean,
they,
to be honest,
they weren't
yeah,
they weren't
you put
paid off.
anything Nintendo.
Yeah, they weren't
you
paid
put
off by
anything-
Nintendo. Obviously, there's just huge fanboys. You know, that's
Yeah.
just how it is. So there's
like-
I'm not saying there's no bias in the industry. There obviously is, but like journal, and I'm not speaking about influencers. Those guys are paid off, but they have to disclose that. Journalists, you cannot be paid off. You'll be fired, and your whole publication will be thrown into question,
It looks
Then
bad
what
for
about-
everyone. That's why. Looks bad.
But then, what about the idea of access media?
What do you mean?
The idea that these guys are, I'm not saying that they're willing, but they tend to push more favorably towards the stuff that they receive in order to get the next product, so that they can
That's
turn that out.
That's bullshit, though. I'm technically access media. I don't do that stuff.
No, I'm not saying that you do, but I'm saying that other people.
Listen, there could be, but I'm just saying the company isn't going, here's a check, write something good. If they do that directly, that's bad. That's going to get called out instantly, as it has in the past. Understand?
Well, it'll only get called out if people find out. I mean, that's generally how the world works.
Yeah, but that's my point.
Once people know that it's
Yeah.
happening, then it gets called out. But if no one knows that it's happening, then the thing will just continue to happen. Again,
but
I know that's the idea of
Brian,
conspiracy
there's a
theory,
difference. There's a
yes.
difference, Brian. There's a difference. When that happens in the journalism space, that journalist is gone. When that happens in the influencer space, it's just an influencer.
Yeah.
You know, that's the point.
It's weird. They're under a different standard. Same thing with YouTubers. They do the same shit.
Yeah.
They'll review
Well, they're
something
in.
like,
They're influencers.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's all linked to the same shit, so they get special treatment. It's different.
Yeah. All right, man.
I do.
Yeah, what's up?
I do agree with one point that Brian mentioned. When it comes to the optics, sometimes it can seem a little bit fishy. Although the one with the Fallout, I was just curious about what was the thing that they were defending with Fallout 4.
Yeah. What did he defend?
They were defending just the bad press the game was getting because people were saying that it was a buggy mess at launch. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what
I
I mean by
do-
the optics are just a bit weird. It's so you're saying
optically could be
to
bad.
us
Yeah.
that the game is not that buggy at launch, and people are just complaining while wearing Pip Boys on your wrist. Okay, that seems a bit odd.
Was it a certain platform that they were playing on? For example, Cyberpunk, right? Remember Cyberpunk came out, glowing reviews, but everybody had the PC version. And then when the console one came out, I was like, yo, this is a hot mess. What the fuck are you talking
Could it
about?
also be a situation that game studios are also trying to control the outcome of the review by not giving every single bit of the information that is needed for a proper review?
Well,
many times.
Cyberpunk.
how
Let's
many
just say
times-
Cyberpunk 2077. They purposely gave reviewers the PC version of the game, which was the best one, and they only let them play the first couple hours, which are the best optimized one. Game studios have done this shit before. That's just a fact,
Yeah, and I put that on the game studio.
how many?
They're hiding
or how
shit.
many?
They're lying.
Or how many times have a certain, like whenever you would hear about a Kojima game, they will not tell you how long the cinematics were. They keep a lot of those things under wraps because they're trying to control the narrative.
Yeah.
And if you are, that's not the game journalist, that's the video game companies themselves. So if you're going to call out anything, you need to start calling out some video game studios for essentially trying to control what a reviewers see and don't see, so that their reviews come out a certain way.
Well, also there is it was Nintendo's ambassador program. Remember that shit? So they were basically telling YouTubers they could only review certain games or talk about certain games. These aren't even journalists, by the way. This was just YouTubers. They could only talk about certain games. They had to be they themselves had to be approved by Nintendo, and Nintendo could only do certain titles, and it better be good reviews. And when anyone outside of that talked about a game, Nintendo would flag their fucking videos, and they had to give Nintendo a cut of their monetary
Their
revenue.
revenue.
It was the fucking most obscene access media shit you'd ever seen. That program was embarrassing.
Do you remember? I
Yeah,
remember
and
2 weeks ago when they ended
nobody
that.
seemed to call that, and nobody seemed to call that shit out, did they? They all fell in line on that one, didn't they?
They cried when it ended, though. I saw a lot of these guys who were complaining. I don't know why I got kicked from it. I did everything right. Blah 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 blah. They were pissed.
They all fell in line.
They
on
only
that
got pissed when they got kicked from it.
Yeah, that's
literally
what I'm saying.
it's literally them trying to control the narrative, and nobody even fucking questions that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, because with Nintendo, they're for kids, yada yada. No, they're a fucking toy company trying to control the information.
Yeah, and meanwhile, with the access, you had to pay them for access, right? They were getting a cut of your money from your videos.
No one talks
that was
about
insane.
that, right? You know, come on now. Nintendo always up to some shady shit, you know? All right, let's move on because we do have a bunch of questions tonight. Next up here, this one is interesting and please let me know if you guys have heard this. Also from Tumeke. If other headlines are to be believed, who the fuck knows these days, you know? But did Microsoft really turn down the chance to make a Marvel game to focus on Halo and Forza? I'd never heard of this.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I haven't heard any of this.
All right, so we're not gonna entertain that, so we'll move on. Nobody knows about that shit. Your cat's very chatty tonight.
Oh yeah,
he doesn't like it when doors are closed. So
no cat likes that shit.
He doesn't like that.
Ah,
So
makes sense.
He's being a bum.
Makes sense. Right, understandable. We get a nice. Yep. All right. Next up, we got J Shep, who's been joining us tonight in the chat. What's going on, brother? All right. He says last week Xbox outsold PlayStation for the first time in 8 years in Japan, thanks to the Series S. This was obviously due to the chip shortage and a lack of PS5 consoles. Should Sony be concerned with the amount of their fan base that now owns Xboxes worldwide? No. They're fine. No, Sony's fine. They're still winning, bro. They're fine.
What they need to be concerned is just the perception that they have in Japan. It has nothing to do with this. That other issue that they're dealing with. People feel they're being censored.
Well, the censorship, right?
Yeah. That's what they need to be concerned about.
Yeah, they need to do something about that.
Yeah, change the narrative. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is even if it's a blip, like a couple of blips on the radar, I find it hard to believe that this will lead to any sort of substantial momentum, especially in Japan. And you know, the chip shortage is another thing. It's making it harder and harder for people to get these things, and I didn't know to what extent it was in Japan, considering that Microsoft is also selling systems there. But it's significant, and but no, I don't think it's anything that's gonna change the mold or change the sort of the direction of where, you know, the PlayStation 5 at the end of the day is going to reach its end.
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry. We're good. Moving on here. Next question. The Nintendo Switch has been pretty consistent in its exclusives. And by the way, Chris, I want you to be the first one to answer this one. The Nintendo Switch has been pretty consistent in its exclusives and first-party releases in 2022. Sony has already released 3 first-party games since March, with Ragnarok and Final Fantasy 16 also appearing. That game's not coming. We're not counting. That shit's not coming this year.
And it's not a first-party.
And it's not a first-party either, you know. Many Xbox fans claim the Rona is the reason for Xbox's lack of AAA first-party and exclusives. My question is, why does the Rona only seem to affect Xbox studios? Real quick, every studio is affected, but go on, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Like, every studio was affected by coronavirus. I mean, Japan shut down hard, and there was delays across the board. So I don't specifically think that's an Xbox problem, but Nintendo has their stuff spread out between different studios. So maybe they did suffer delays. I mean, look at Zelda. Zelda is like immensely fucking delayed. You know, you have a game here. You have a game that is just. The first Breath of the Wild released in 2017, right? They said the second game is just using the first game stuff. They added some to the map, but they have the assets and all this stuff. That game should not take an additional 7 years to come out, right? Not when they did the same thing with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask came out a year later, which had a new map, right? So there's something wrong, and you know you could chalk it up to that, and anybody could use that. Sony has used that as an excuse too. Remember, they dipped on GDC and all that stuff. They're like, "Oh, Rona, we can't show anything," and they bowed out of a whole bunch of events. So this is not exclusive to Microsoft. Microsoft has also acquired a bunch of studios and started up a bunch of projects. Those projects take years and years to materialize into product. So I don't. Did he say that Microsoft said it was Rona that is the delay, or fans? That many fans?
Yeah, many fans.
Well,
Because literally every company has said that. That's why.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I agree that Xbox obviously hasn't released as many games, but Sony is not releasing as many games as they normally would. Nintendo certainly isn't, as Chris just pointed out. So everybody's affected. It's not just Microsoft.
yeah.
Every studio was affected by the Rona, obviously, especially during the early periods in 2020 when no one knew what the hell was going on, and it affected everything. But I feel like 2022, everyone that's using the Rona as an excuse for not releasing a game, especially a game that's maybe announced after 2020, after the whole Rona started, is just using it as an excuse, as an easy excuse to show their negligence of planning a video game in this time of day. And it's not exclusive to Microsoft as a whole. I feel like it's just affected everyone. Whether it's actually the Rona or not, people are delaying games obsessively, and it's getting ridiculous at this point. Like, where we don't even trust release dates anymore.
Yeah. By the way, Carlos, I kind of slightly disagree with what you said about how we started feeling the effects in 2020. Not really, because games were already kind of done. We really started feeling it last year, and especially this fucking year.
I guess I misspoke. I just meant that the causation of this was due to the early 2020 when we didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, but I just had to say that everything you said I agree with. Although, how could you possibly prepare for something like that? You know what I'm saying? But I do agree.
Yeah.
And again, these companies are so big, they're kind of slow to shift. Think about it like this, right? Indie companies, they haven't had a problem. You know why? Because they're used to working from home anyway, So most indie games, there have been indie games delayed. Don't get me wrong, but the vast majority of them have been trucking along because it hasn't really affected their workflow. But these massive companies and stuff, where they're all used to working in an office, it's been a hard shift for sure. So everybody's been affected. But I still maintain. I said this about. I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying it again. Both consoles shouldn't have released in 2020. Rona or no Rona, they were not ready for prime time. Sony had no fucking games. Microsoft had no fucking games.
They obviously, it's funny because like virus or not, you could see that they didn't have everything together for it. Yeah. If they had delayed it for maybe a year, like put it out in 2021, when there was a little bit more and literally, obviously a lot more was ready in that time, or even late 2021. I would feel like that would have been a better time for them.
November 2020 would have been better. Even with the Rona, I think it would have been better because I would have been like, oh, we got to shift things around now, Yeah. But I'm sorry. Like, again, yes, PlayStation had more exclusives. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. But a lot of them were fucking cross-gen, So, and like, what was the biggest?
You can literally count on your fingers how many of them were not.
Like actual exclusives. Astro's Playroom, that was an actual exclusive, right? Demon's Souls 5 was technically an exclusive for PS5, but it's a fucking remake of a PS3 game, And then you had to wait until, when was it, March? Until Ratchet and Clank? Come on now, And then, yes, Horizon Forbidden West, fucking awesome game. Love that game. Got the platinum. Cross-gen game. Elden Ring, my game of the year, right? That's not a Sony exclusive, obviously. Fucking cross-gen. This generation is half-baked. I've been saying this since before the generation started. I'm not saying nothing new, but the Rona just, made things worse. This is why this generation, Carlos, this generation, I feel the way you did about last gen at the same time. Whack.
Well, I feel even more strongly about this generation than I did last one. So I'm with you, man. It's, at least last generation, it took maybe 2-3 years to see so we're on year 2, and we're about to be on year 2. So
yeah, Returnal, that is an exclusive, but That's no. Sorry about that. No.
That game is whack.
Yeah, the game is not. Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna say it's whack, but it's not a system
Not
seller.
for-
It's not for everybody. It's not a system seller. I'm not gonna go that far. But it's not a system seller for sure. MLB, that's not even on fucking PlayStation anymore. You know.
It's on PlayStation.
You know what I'm saying? It's not exclusive anymore. It's on Xbox.
exclusive,
It's on Xbox. You know, it's not exclusive anymore. Sorry about that. Yeah. Sony has released as much titles on Xbox that what? Syrian Network goes, Sony has released as much of titles on Xbox than Xbox has their gamers. I don't understand what that means. I don't know.
So you're saying
that they don't have as many diehard gamers as opposed to like comparable to the amount of exclusives. So they're not producing the games, and they also have no real fans. I think that's what it sounds like he's saying.
No. The way I read it is, Sony has released more games on Xbox than Xbox has released more games on Xbox, which I don't think is true. It's funny to think about, but yeah, because MLB The Show is one of them. But I can't. Is there another game that that's not? It's not Forza and Halo and stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just a fact. Everybody's been struggling. It's not just Xbox. Although Xbox definitely has it fucking worse. Let's just be real here. You know, what would it have? Halo. Look at that shit.
Well, they have Halo.
I mean, it wasn't that
Forza,
cool.
they got
Forza Horizon 5 was fucking dope, but it's a racing game. You know.
Oh, that's people like cars.
Yeah, but it ain't moving systems. It ain't moving systems. All right, man, let's move on. More questions to answer. One subset who has been joining us tonight as well. This one's fun. Okay, the closed beta of WB's MultiVersus is available. If you've played it, what do you think? Has anybody here played this game?
No, didn't bother. It just looks like another one of those Super Smash Brothers clones.
I have, because I got a code for it, and yeah, it's a Super Smash Brothers clone. I'm just being honest. I'm not into those kind of games. So this was the same type of deal. Like, yes, it's cool having, Wonder Woman versus Arya Stark in the Batcave. That's cool, but it's a Smash Brothers game. So, yeah. And also reminds me a lot, graphically, and the interface reminds me a lot of Fortnite. So, yeah.
Well, I definitely think that they were trying to go for that sort of toyetic looking look that the Fortnite. I mean, I did one thing I did like about that.
Manny, hold on. What did you say?
Toyetic.
Toyetic? Is that a thing?
Toyetic.
Yes.
Whoa, hold on, back up. You got to teach Tony stuff. I didn't know this. So
yes,
yeah.
Something that looks very much something that can be a toy.
Yeah,
it's
used
into a toy form.
Yeah,
it's
interesting. Like,
interesting.
in other words, like you could say that Kingdom Hearts is very toyetic. You could, because of the accessories and stuff.
Yeah.
You could say that any of the Disney movies are very toyetic because they can do all kinds. It's just that.
I've never heard this term. I'm gonna look this up. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. I'm gonna, because I've always said toy looking. There's just a name for it. It's great. Yeah, because I literally thought them like, hey, they look like toys.
So they can make them.
It's definitely
yeah.
It's definitely like that. That game is looking. That's one thing I do like about that thing, is that it has a unique style. It has a
toyetic.
Not a toyetic style, but it has a solid style as opposed to being a smash together of a bunch of different styles.
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry, they look like themselves, but they also fit in the world of the way all of those characters are portrayed. So they look like they still fit in with Shaggy, and they still look like they fit in with Batman too.
Yeah.
Like Batman's not like realistic style, and those guys they all sort of fit in a generalized style. Very toyetic looking.
Yeah, toyetic. Oh, with an E, not an A. Okay, cool. Interesting. So so if you like Smash Brothers, you'll like it. If you don't, you won't.
They did change some things. I just for the hell of it, I just watched a little bit of that one SGC guy, that guy with the long hair and the beard, the blonde-haired guy. I can't remember what the guy's name is. He's constantly doing fighting games, and he's looking through it, and he's like, saying,
that Maximilian guy.
Yeah, that guy. He was talking about it.
That
apparently,
dude's cool.
there's no real blocking in that game. Apparently,
Tony, I got
Oh, go ahead.
I
What's
gotta
up?
disagree with you on one thing now.
Oh, what'd I do?
If you like Super Smash Brother clones, then you'll like it.
Eh,
Yeah, the Smash Brothers community is really is
Nickelodeon one was pretty good. That was pretty good.
yeah, but they're really defensive about Smash Brothers. So I don't know if all of them appreciate the clones.
yeah, because there's the Nickelodeon clone, you know.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah. That one had
PlayStation.
Ninja Turtles in it and stuff. So.
Yeah, there's a
somebody dropped
PlayStation one
off.
that released.
Yeah. That game, fucking whack.
What was it called? Was it an All Stars?
Yeah, it was some All Stars bullshit. It was
Nickelodeon
crap.
All-Stars? Or are you talking
No,
about
the PlayStation All Stars.
Yeah,
PlayStation All Stars.
That was it. PlayStation All-Stars.
Yeah, whack. It was whack. But then I don't like these Smash Brothers games, you know. So
Yeah. I'd say if I'm gonna play one of those, even though the Nickelodeon one was fun because they had Turtles and some other ones, I'd just stick with Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
oh man,
And Smash Brothers already got like a million characters, anyways.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can be Snake and everybody. Come on now.
All right, man. Moving on. Next question. One subset again. Why doesn't Capcom go back to the original Resident Evil Outbreak 1 and 2 formula with a few tweaks? The tech for that type of game wasn't there in the early days of PS2. Weren't those games bad? Like, I could be wrong, but weren't they bad?
Chris, you played the offline version of those games, right?
Yeah, I played the first Outbreak game, and listen, while the ideas were good in it, I mean, I'm not going back to tank controls. That game played like old Resident Evil, with the fixed camera and all that stuff. And here's the thing, like they've released plenty of these online companion games with the Resident Evil, like 2 remake and 3, like RE-verse and all this stuff. They're not catching on. Nobody's playing them. So why would anybody care about networked Outbreak?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
What was it? What wasn't what was it that the one that came out a few years ago was Umbrella something?
Oh, Umbrella Corps was terrible.
Is that the latest one that's out? That one was bad.
No,
oh, there was RE-verse.
That's what I'm thinking about. RE-verse. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I mean, so they're trying to say, if you're talking about doing a story mode or co-op story mode, like Outbreak, where you have multiple people playing in the same world, I mean, like RE5 kind of did that, where you could assume the helper character and stuff. Mm-hmm. And 6 did it too, so you could do something like that, I guess. It depends what they're doing with the story games, or if they're doing another Revelations game, because you could play the secondary character also in that. Yeah. But if you're saying go back to tank controls, I'm out.
Oh, fuck that.
No, I think he just means like take that sort of like online survive, like line that sort of thing that they did in Outbreak, but essentially with modern controls and stuff. But where everybody's sort of trying to survive. But to be honest, you know what that is? That's like Left 4 Dead. So these things already exist.
Yeah. And they've tried. That Resistance game they did was that. It was you play with like 4 people and you're surviving against it's an asymmetrical game. So one guy is like the dungeon master and he's setting up all the zombies and everything, and you got to survive. Like they're not going to do Outbreak. They're trying all these other things which nobody cares for either. So I think they're trying these things to see if there's an interest in Outbreak, and honestly, it's not there. None of these network Resident Evils do well.
Yeah, they don't. None of them. Yeah. Wasn't there another one like before RE-verse that was like more open worldish or something? I don't know, but it was like a big kind of game or whatever. It just failed. They all fail,
Yeah, they all failed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Resident Evil in general needs to stop doing the multiplayer stuff because it just doesn't work. Yeah. All right, man. Hold on. What am I seeing in the chat right now? So something about June 12th. What's that? I'm not expecting much from that shit, to be honest. I'm really not. I said this last week though. Gotta have some.
Gotta have something.
I don't know.
If they didn't have anything, don't even put on a damn show.
57 minutes, 58. You know,
they never really said it was going to be all about Starfield. So now we definitely know it's not about Starfield. So They gotta have something.
We'll see. We'll see.
It better not be, oh, look, we got a new dongle to connect to your TV, give you Game Pass.
You know,
The Connect is coming back.
It's coming back with a lifesaver.
I saw some people going like, "Oh, maybe you'll resubscribe after June 12th." Whatever they announced on June 12th is not going to be available on June 12th.
That's the other thing. Who gives a shit? If you don't want it, you don't want it.
That's what I'm saying. Why do you give a fuck what I do with my money?
I canceled that shit a while ago, and I'm full back, and I had canceled that shit. I was open about it. I don't give a shit. I'll be back when there's something I want.
There you go.
Why do they care if you're subscribed or not?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
People are weird, dude.
Listen, you don't need Tony to validate your purchase. If you think Xbox is the greatest thing ever, then enjoy it. Like he can decide that he's not worth his money. That's how shit works.
I mean, not everybody's box is like Dutch. My box brainwashes me. Like he tells me shit that I know I shouldn't know. He gave me $5 the other day. No damn reason, and it was like, yo, here's $5. I'm like,
oh, so you're the one that's getting paid off.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely getting paid off. They're definitely helping me out. And it's probably what we talked about before, that whale mentality, keep feeding the whale. And that's what's going on. They see something, and then they're like, oh, here. It's like being at the casino, and they just keep giving me free drinks. It's that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. I just got a text from Brett. I will read it. I wish I told him, because he was like, oh, I'm coming back for a show. I'm like, yeah, the fellas told me. I hope you had a good one. He goes, it was a bit rough on the back, and I didn't really compete. I'll tell you about it later, but overall, it was good and served its purpose. That's good.
Yeah. So, spread the word. I think that was the purpose. Spread the word about the tattoo shop.
I mean, part of doing art, freelance art, or what Brett does, which is pretty much like freelance, is that this is part of the promotion and trying to get asses in seats. So if he's doing stuff at the show, that means that more people will get exposed to his work and get to see what he's doing.
Damn, man, if you come to town, we can hang out with Brett also.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because he's in this parts too. He's only an hour and a half from me.
Yeah, me coming from Chicago is a lot longer than coming from
Brett.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's move on. Drunken Guardian, who's also been in the chat. I'm noticing a theme here.
We met him on Craigslist. He was selling a fucking tea maker. I'm like, what the fuck?
He goes, what does Drunken Guardian. Not to be confused with Drunken Demon, Got a drunk fucking alcoholics around here, man.
Maybe the same person, who knows?
It could be, What does the panel think about the classic PS Plus lineup announcement and how it convoluted it seems? Is it a potential competition for Game Pass?
No, we talked about that. It's not.
Well, here's the thing. He's talking about the lineup, the classic lineup specifically. He's just talking about the games. So, in that sense, in my opinion, it's better than Game Pass because, like, PlayStation has better franchises than Xbox, in my opinion,
I agree with that, but with PlayStation 1 games, the quality is that blown up on a 4K. That's worse than Switch.
Yeah, that could be bad. Maybe Jim Ryan was right, Nobody wants to see those old games.
Here's the thing, Chivos, you heard about this?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, trophies,
getting trophies on that.
That's something that they had, in the Gears for a long time. Remember, they had a patent for that. You could earn trophies on old games. So somehow they managed to get old OG PlayStation 1 and PSP games run natively.
Yeah. So yeah, in terms of the library, at least as far as I'm concerned, PlayStation has a better library than Xbox. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Again, it's just old games. I played these already, man. That's also my problem because the main reason I unsubscribed from Game Pass, I'm like, Game Pass is fantastic if you play old games, great, but I don't play old games like that. Same thing with PlayStation. I'm like, why am I gonna go to this higher tier to play old shit that I already own? No point. For no point,
especially with PlayStation.
Especially with PlayStation, exactly.
And you don't play sport games and the EA stuff.
I don't play that stuff.
With the sport, and that's what I enjoy about it. But if you're not utilizing that feature, there's no point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because some people go, oh, what about PlayStation? What about PlayStation? I'm like, bro, I'm not subscribing to any of those other tiers either,
Yeah.
People are funny, man. I swear.
It's one or the other. It's that whole thing. It's got to be one or the other. You can't just be like in the middle. No. Don't work that way.
No, you have to be one or the other, and that's it, All right, moving on here. Logic Wins, who has also been in the chat tonight. What's going on, brother?
Yo, yo.
Oh, this might be a little controversial.
Uh-oh.
shit.
Uh-oh.
He's hanging out with Rich.
He goes, according to Push Square, the website, PS1 games will be enhanced or remastered for modern consoles. Despite Hip Hop Gamer confirming the remastering engine years ago, we all know he won't get the credit he deserves. My question is, why is Hip Hop Gamer overlooked? Yet I see Jeff Grubb getting invited to gaming podcasts every week to give his predictions on this.
They don't take him serious. We talked about
They,
that.
they don't, you know, we said this many times.
Doesn't take hip.
Nope.
Yeah, the industry doesn't take Hip Hop Gamer seriously.
They see him as a character. That's
Yes, that's what it is.
So even when he is right about stuff, they're, you know, they just dismiss him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got the hot takes on that one. Remember, he came on the show and he
Yeah.
talked about it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
Crazy.
yeah, that was
the
what
story
that's.
sounded crazy. The guy was drunk. We were at this party. He told me all this shit. We're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And look at it.
That's one of our highest rated. That's one of our highest viewed episodes. We literally took that. Yeah, we should bring him.
That should be episode 400.
Episode 400 is coming. Just saying.
Yeah,
you
that
know?
should be a rewind.
Yeah, remaster the remastering engine episode.
You heard it here first. We'll steal the MTV news thing.
And I've said this to Hip Hop Gamer, you know, both on this show and on Twitter. I'm like, if this is real, I'll give you the props first because you were the first guy to talk about it. Maybe it's not going to come out to the way he said it because I think he said game discs were involved. I don't think they're going to do that, but he was the first guy talking about this. So you got to at least bring him up in the conversation. That's all I'm saying. At least bring him up in the conversation. But people aren't going to do that, you know, because again, you know, like we've said this many times, and we love Hip Hop Gamer, you know, Gerard. We love this guy, right? But we've always said his persona is kind of a double-edged sword. It's what's helped him get to where he is, but it's also kind of holding him back in some respects, you know. But again, if the dude talked about it, you gotta at least mention him. But a lot of publications ain't doing that.
Yep, they looked at it as a reason to goof on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, when they were putting him out there like that, which is disappointing to me. It's like it's because they don't take him seriously. They put him out like a joke.
Yeah.
Wait, what was he right about?
The remastering engine.
That it was actually happening.
Or not the remastering engine, but about, you know, PS5 getting old classic games and stuff.
Yeah. The one thing that wasn't on there was
they were going to bring in all of them like a service type of deal.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
He was just wrong about the disc part of it. He was wrong about that.
He was wrong about the disc part and the PS3 part.
Yeah.
But that was, I mean, I felt like that was just set in stone when Game Pass was a thing. When Microsoft started doing all of their backwards compatibility stuff, Sony was bound to just follow because that's
not really. Remember what Jim Ryan said? He goes, "Nobody wants to play these old games." He said it.
I'll take a page from Chris. Never trust anything Jim Ryan says.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
Him and Kimoshima, and it's every time he says something, I sometimes I think the opposite because this dude is literally lies off his ass. So the whole thing with backwards compatibility, I mean, he lied about the service, and when they get desperate enough, they'll put those first party games on the PS Plus. I'll guarantee that. I'm not reporting on it. I'm not confirming it. But you know, this whole thing with and games are bound to look better. Why? Because the system has better specs. So obviously PS1 games are gonna get a resolution bump, anti-aliasing.
I don't know. If you see the way a lot of these games get emulated,
it gets done on PC. That's how PC gaming works.
But they never look good. And I got a shitload of emulators with people working on them. It
depends on the game.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the game. So if they put money into it to actually care about making it better, but if they don't, like, we're just gonna spit this out there and put some cheapos on it.
I think that at least, you know, this hasn't been fully confirmed, but I think that what'll happen is just get a nice resolution bump. They'll probably run, you know, some, you know, texture filtering on it. Pretty much what happened on PlayStation 3, right? Remember when you know, you could smooth out the textures. Maybe they'll use some maybe they have some sort of AI upscaling dealie that's running in the background to do some of the texture fixing. Who knows? But go ahead. And
I mean, we've seen that forever, not only in PC gaming but in emulation. Emulation's been doing this for fucking decades now. So
Uh,
every time something, it's like, oh, an old thing is coming into a brand new system that's light years ahead of it, where when it came out, where the system originally came out, you better as hell expect it to be enhanced, because it's not going to look the same when
They
it
didn't
came
do
out on the
that.
PlayStation
They
1.
didn't do that shit with their fucking N64 games and all that shit that was
Oh
coming out.
no! Oh, they were quote unquote enhanced. They just look like fucking shit.
Yeah.
Blurry ass games.
Very games.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
trust me, believe me, they did advertise them as enhanced games.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh yes, not to get controversial here, but
Oh man. But no, we'll have Hip Hop Gamer on soon, man. Believe that.
Believe
right.
that.
Mob Hits. Now, has Bob Hits been in the chat? Let me know, man.
well, we haven't been hit with the bits.
Yeah, we haven't been hit with the bits. No, you're right. Yeah, he be making it rain, so he's not in there right now. You know, Mob Hits. First question: what are your thoughts on EA considering being acquired? Should companies stay away from giving EA's reputation? So apparently, I haven't read too much into this. Like, EA is looking to be acquired. Have you guys looked into this?
No, I haven't heard that shit.
Yeah. No. By the way, this isn't a rumor. Like, it's an actual story. I just haven't read as much into it as I could have. But something about EA looking to be acquired, and was it? I think they were trying to be acquired by like a sports entity of some kind. You know, it was really fucking weird. I tweeted about it, like, what the fuck, really?
What if it's just one of those situations where they were asked, like, would you ever see the company be sold? Would you ever
Yeah. It's so. This is from Gotaku. It says EA is looking to sell or merge. Very interesting.
Everybody's got a price. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But again, please in the chat tell me they were trying to, what was it, the ESPN or something along those lines. I was like, wait, what? You know,
That's Disney.
Wouldn't it be Disney? Yeah. Okay. There you go. Colorful. Yeah, it's Disney.
Yeah. So the story is definitely real. You know, they are looking to they're seeking to a sale or a merger. You know, so that is happening.
You see, so let's say something like that comes up, right? They're looking. It's like, hey, anybody come out?
NBC Universal. That's what it was. NBC Universal.
So if let's say Microsoft or some other big company was to come along, it's like, are people going to pitch and say, oh, look, they're gobbling up all the other ones? Like, but they put that sale sign up in front of their lawn. What do you want me to do?
That's what Activision did too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like, do you ignore that? And it's like, well, why are you doing this? Why is he selling? Well, come on now.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. You know.
Well,
yeah. Go ahead.
I do know, and you know, for those who've been paying attention to the market, a lot of these deals, the Twitter one, the Activision one, all of these deals have been going at a high premium. So meaning that a lot of the shares that are getting sold, or the shares of the company they're being sold, are getting sold at a much higher rate.
Oh yeah.
That you know, and usually when companies buy other companies that are public, they pay sort of, like, we're paying a premium rate to where we expect the price of the share is going to be in the future. That's what Microsoft did with Activision. And right now, one of the things that's going on is we're pretty much heading into a recession, and everything is going down. You know, the QQQ is like down 30% since year to date. Stocks are tanking, crypto's tanking, everything is tanking at the moment. So don't be surprised if the motivation for EA is to say, I wonder which company would pay premium price for our shares and we'll make fucking bank during a fucking recession.
Yeah, get out of this now.
Yeah, I want to read this real quick. In recent years, as media companies have taken greater interest in the rapidly growing gaming industry, Wilson and Electronic Arts have held talks with a number of different potential suitors, including Disney, Apple, and Amazon. Sources with knowledge of those talks told me. That's Dylan Bayers from Puck. That's where this originally came from. Several sources familiar with these talks say EA has been persistent in pursuing a sale and has only grown more emboldened in the wake of the Microsoft Activision deal. Others say that EA is primarily interested in a merger arrangement that would allow Wilson to remain as chief executive of the combined company. Interesting. I guess Wilson is the guy who owns EA. I don't know what his fucking name is.
He's the ball from fucking Outcast, the one with Tom Hanks.
Yeah. Not to be confused with
Castaway.
Outcast.
Whatever.
The fucking group and
Castaway,
shit.
Castaway. Wilson
Yeah.
was
Castaway.
I was like,
I'm
Outcast.
thinking about Outcast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Spencer.
Andrew Wilson, that's his name. Andrew Wilson. All right, very interesting. So we'll see. And more mergers, more acquisitions. Everybody's up for
Yeah,
sale
but
now.
like everything is consolidating.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
It's not at all.
Yeah.
Like you said, man, it's going to be a future where it's like 5 game companies,
That's so
Well,
good, man.
we have it like that with phone companies, cable companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
cable
sucks
companies.
too.
It does.
No, but this is how it works.
Sucks, man. All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Moving on here, Mob hits another one. All right. Potentially controversial.
Controversial statements ahead. No.
Controversial question. All right. Should mainstream media news be held responsible for game studios getting blowback after mass shootings? The mainstream media's scapegoat tactics smear the games industry.
To be honest, that it always happens, and it's unfortunate. It's what happened with rock and roll music. It happened with rap music. It's always the new media that gets blamed for the dissension.
Yeah, but
this
the
latest one, wasn't it the local politician that bitched about it? The latest shooting was like, oh, it's freaking
Yeah, you want to know why? It's because he doesn't. The politician doesn't want to name what the real fucking problem is.
Yeah, man.
Because the minute that he does, a certain industry will come down on him. So, because there's no lobbyists in the game industry paying, giving these idiots fucking backdoor deals. We want to talk about people who's getting paid, getting stipends. That's why. So the easy escape. Well, last time there was a big shooting in the United States. What did the former president blame? Wasn't what was a part of the actual crime. It was the video games that were the problem, and then he launched an investigation into video games. It's the same fucking shit.
It's all a means to not take accountability.
Exactly.
And it's not even politics. It's like if you believe one thing is a cause for this or the other reason. There's two big things that one side or the other mention about why these things happen. But using video games as a scapegoat is a means to not take a side on either way, to not get any blowback, and mess with something that this person thinks is like, my career is not going to be in danger for me coming after video games, so I'm just going to do that.
Yeah, if he goes after the other thing, there's going to be a lobbyist. There's going to be a certain, association. There's going to be companies that are all coming after him because of this. Even people. Now, if you say video games, oh no, that's just some bullshit entertainment. Then that always gets blamed. And then what happens after that? Then they start, start getting sensitive. And then what we have is this, what happened, during the 90s. Where nobody wanted to really go into this sort of stuff, so it had to just they're poisoning the mind of the children. So, gaming is a fucking adult industry. Fucking kids can't buy a fucking Nintendo game.
Yeah,
maybe you motherfuckers need to. If you have such a big issue about kids getting their hands on fucking violent video games, maybe you need to stop buying fucking Grand Theft Auto for your 9-year-old.
How about that? But the question I think is kind of interesting. Like, should we blame the mainstream media when game companies get blowback?
Should we blame the mainstream media? Yeah, we should blame them.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Because they perpetuate that silly narrative. Because they don't understand any of it either, and they don't get anybody on there who knows a damn bit about it to even talk about it. And if they do, it's usually they talk over them to tell them, to essentially make a mockery of that person.
I think it's a trickle down. It's like whoever reports. If the politician says, "Hey, this is related to gaming," it's like okay, and then the media says, "Hey, gaming." So let's investigate that. Is it related to gaming? What did he play? What did he listen to? Fucking Ozzy. Ozzy did it. That's right. He played the records backwards. It was always something, and it just keeps going and going, and then eventually they get bored of it. It's like, all right, are we done blaming everybody else? Yeah.
Yeah, and then when it blows over, we're back in the same situation where nothing gets done.
Yeah. And then when it's an adult that does it, then what? I was like, oh well.
Yeah,
What
there
do we
was
do?
nothing they could blame. Nothing they could blame about that guy who shut up that
In
what was
Vegas
it
at the
in Las
concert,
Vegas.
yeah.
The guy is a total fucking mystery. They couldn't
Uh-huh.
blame a damn thing. They go, oh well, he didn't do this, or
He was a real estate guy.
nothing.
Nothing
It was
wrong with
nothing nothing about that guy. He was a total blank fucking slate. And there's not even really a motive that was even, they even same thing with the guy in Philly and in New York City. There is not. They don't say anything why that guy did any of that stuff. He just got arrested. He had a friggin' what was it? A U-Haul filled with rifles and guns. No motive, no nothing. What was there to blame? What could you blame?
Yeah, there was no easy scapegoat in that case.
There was no easy scapegoat go in that situation, and the sad thing is that shit also that got apparently wiped under the rug for because they couldn't. There was no fucking story about that they could jump onto.
Well, these things happen way too often where there are only 1, maybe 2 day storylines, and then we just move on because it's getting normalized.
Exactly.
I think it's already is.
It is.
No, 'cause I remember this, and this is sadly years ago, right? Where I thought that I was like, damn, it's gotten to a point where school shootings happen. You're just like, it's Tuesday. Like that's fucked
Remember,
up.
Columbine has been embarked in our fucking brains for our entire lives, and these days we can't even they just fucking happen all the fucking time. So it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, Columbine happens every other week now. It seems,
Yeah, I mean Columbine. Yeah, Columbine was a big thing. Come on, that was like late '90s.
They blame heavy metal for that one.
They were blaming heavy metal and video games for that one.
And the Matrix, and the Matrix,
and comics. There was always comics. Subliminal messages and comics.
I remember I was going to school then. High school. I was like, because I was always wearing black. Right, I'm like, oh fuck. They're gonna start blaming me or something.
I blamed you. I started
against you. You did,
Adam got some shit that happened at that time too. When you were
Adam stories.
Adam stories.
Yeah. My mom helped me make this shirt, so there's a quick one. So it was my senior year. And we had this. I don't know if it was like that in other states, but in New York on Halloween, you're not allowed to wear an outfit. You go to school, you can't wear an outfit. You don't have to come in, whatever. Just don't wear an outfit. So me and a buddy of mine that lived in the neighborhood, and he was only, I think, 10th grade, a little younger, but I knew him from the neighborhood, right? And we would go walk to school together, and he saw that I was painting on my face. My mom helped me make this shirt. It said Inner Circle. It showed all these little
fuck,
right? And he was like, "Oh, I want to do that shit too." I was like, "Okay." Right. So, and you always say, "Well, wait, Ray." Well, his name was actually Ray. It was Raymond.
Yeah.
Right? So then I was
and
like,
you remember Ray?
You were Ray.
Yeah, he was cool. So cool guy. So anyway, right? I think he does real estate now. It worked out for him. But anyway, so we go to the school, and I knew how to get into the school without going through metal detector security because they would instantly turn me away because I was painted up. So we got in, and I brought lollipops, and I told my teachers that if I make it in to class, can I get some kind of bonus on my score? My Italian teacher told me I would, and I think it was my English teacher. One other teacher said, "Yeah, I'll give you 10% boost if you can actually make it in and sit in class, not just sit in class and you made it in," because security was tight on it. And I did 2 of those classes. So anyway, once the bell rang and I was leaving, and then my buddy we met up in the same stairwell. Security guard sees us. He was like, "All right, you guys gotta go." We're like, "All right, fine, whatever." Right. So then we're going down the stairwell, and we thought we were leaving, and he says, "No, I'm bringing you to the dean's office."
Uh-oh.
And I knew this guy, and he knew me, but he couldn't recognize me. I mean, I wasn't wearing a wig or anything, but he couldn't recognize me with the face paint and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to the dean's office. So I hit his arm off my shoulder, and I took off. And I look, and I see Ray running right behind me. So we start running. We make it to an exit. We leave. We get out of the school. We think we made it out home free, right? So I forgot where we were walking. We're walking somewhere, but this is no cell phones. It was just pagers. So I get a page from my mom. So I call her. I'm like, "What's going on?" She's like, "What did you do? What did you and Ray do? Right? They wanted to kick you out of school. They wanted." I'm like, "Wait, what happened?" They said you assaulted a security guard, and I'm like, "How do they even know it's me? The guy didn't even." Is Ray dropped his badge? You have a school
Yeah,
ID.
yeah.
He dropped it. And when
Oh,
he dropped it,
Oh.
and he was saying, and everybody was like, "Oh well, he walks to school with Adam. They walk
Oh
over, so that
shit.
gotta be." So now, like, we have to meet with the principal and the dean, all the stuff tomorrow. So next day comes, we go over there, we sit down, and it's also the guidance counselors there, the principal, the dean, the whole thing. They're like, "Whoa, your intentions," and I was like, "No intentions. I told you, I put them alive. I didn't do anything wrong. You know our policies." Now they said you had some like maybe some satanic thing written on your shirt. It was not satanic, it's an inner circle. But what does that mean? It means absolutely nothing. I mean, now it means wrestling because Chris Jericho started a group.
Yeah,
But
he
back
took
then, yeah,
it.
there was nothing. I
You
said
should
nothing.
sue.
Yeah, and they was like, "Well, we need more proof, and we see that you don't have any other issues with this, and you were on the soccer team, all this." Right? I'm like, well, "So what's the end result?" And then they asked my mom, "Did you know anything about this?" She's like, "I helped them make the shirt." They're like, "Well, maybe I always remember. Maybe the problem is at home." And she was like,
Oh.
"Problem?" She's like, "What problem?" She's like, "He didn't bring a gun. He didn't bring a knife. He didn't assault anybody. He actually went and sat in the classrooms. What is the problem?" Well, it's our policies. Long story short, I had to, for the remainder of the school year, and it was still like that was October, and the remainder of the year, I had to every Friday meet with a counselor, and they had a camera, and they
Oh
had to record
shit.
and just talk to me, talk about my life and all this stuff. And as long as I agreed to that and didn't cause any more trouble, then I can finish out my senior year, or else I
And
did whatever.
I remember that going to visit you on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
You came out late.
so the moral of the story is there's tapes of Adam somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah, and I exaggerate the problems at home. Of course, my mom beats me. I live in a closet. No, I didn't go in. I didn't say any of this. I was like, no, nothing's wrong. Everything is fine. Regular weekend, no biggie. And
I don't know.
it was
The
bullshit.
other day, Adam. So what's going on with your life? I don't know. One day I was trying to figure out how to get this emulation on my Game Boy Color, and the thing
this is
just went haywire.
pre-emulation,
Yeah,
buddy.
this is pretty early. This is was it? This was
We didn't
90.
even have a computer then.
I had yeah. There's like yeah. Did I have no? My
Like,
first year of college, I think is when I got it. I think
Yep.
it was like
and
95.
that guidance counselor was the OG person who said Adam stories.
Right? She was the first one. She's got all the tapes. Who knows what she's doing? I can't remember any. But yeah, I always remember that shit. I was like, damn.
That's
So I don't know
wild.
if that's a thing. And you guys, anybody else, Carlos, you're in Texas. Did they have a policy for Halloween? You can't get dressed up. Is that a thing?
It depends on. No, we could get dressed up.
It's only. I'm
Yeah,
sure it was only
I
a
don't
New
think-
York thing, man.
Yeah, I think so.
They were over in NYC. They're always overly sensitive. I mean, dude, you went to a school that had fucking metal detectors in front of it.
Yeah, we had.
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, I went to high school with
I
metal
never.
detectors.
Neither of my schools had that shit. Well, the art school I went to, and the others, elementary or the junior high, none of those had any of that shit.
I went to my class. Who my classes had a famous person in them, Stephon Marbury. He made it to that.
Stephon Marbury.
Yeah.
Wait, you went to school with Stephon Marbury?
Yeah,
He
was
did.
Adam stories.
he was
Yep.
he was in my English class and my creative writing class.
Oh man.
Yeah, yep. Stephon Marbury.
Oh shit! A fucking
Oh, and
course he went to school with Stephon
also
Marbury.
one of his teachers was a UFC fighter, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, the science teacher. He fought in the early UFCs. What was it?
You forgot about
He
that.
fought Hoist Gracie and
Stephon-
shit.
No,
Stephon Marbury is probably like one of the most famous basketball players to ever come on New York.
Oh, he's got a statue out in China, a bronze statue built for him over, was it Singapore or something? He
Oh,
went and
shit.
joined the league,
Oh,
and
he went to China. Yeah, he went to China.
China, and he killed it over there, and they built the statue for him and everything.
He was the first one to go to China to play, and he became uber famous over there.
Uber famous, uber famous. No more YouTube videos of him crying, eating peanut butter. It was just, he was living the dream.
Yeah. All right. By the way, this is what we are treated with every day after the show.
That is a normal time.
Oh, Adam, Logic Wins is asking who was your teacher. What was the teacher's name?
Fuck. Wait.
He said Rich Franklin.
No, not Rich Franklin. He was also a teacher, but not him. It
wasn't Dan Severn, was it?
No.
Dan Severn was a science
Yeah,
teacher.
yeah,
No.
I'll tell you how he finished. Damn. Goodright. I think his name was Goodright. Big black dude beat him. He pinned his arm down against the side of the cage and kept punching him in the face. It was in the early, like maybe UFC 10. One of them. Damn, what was it? Zapatelli? I want to say Zapatelli. I'm not sure. It's an Italian name though. And dude was jacked. He was huge jacked. I mean, he was massive, and he was my biology teacher.
Oh shit!
And this is before UFC blew up and all that whole thing. And sure enough, I'm watching a pay-per-view and I see the dude. I'm like, what the hell? And then he was out for a few weeks. And then when he came in, yeah, he lost, but he put up a hell of a fight. If it wasn't that he got pinned on his shoulder, we were like, yo, you could have won this. But respect.
Yeah. All right, that was good. Let's move on here. Toon Medic, Michael Santiago. What's going on,
What's
brother?
up, Michael?
All right, his question as well. What's up, Throwdown? My question for tonight is, are release dates good or bad for video game development? If a game has a release date, this is essentially a deadline for the game to get done. Yeah, it needs to happen. You have to have a release date. Otherwise, they're just up in the air, you know?
Yeah, there has to be some sort of endpoint that you have to shoot for. The only thing about it is that, like, a lot of times you notice that people, whether that be a global pandemic or other factors, maybe they need a little bit more time. Maybe they're also their idea is a little bit too ambitious for what the time that they're looking for. It's a lot of different factors. But yeah, you have to sort of have some sort of
I don't know. I think Star Citizen would disagree with you.
Well, I mean, to be honest, they're part of their business model is keeping the game in limbo and and getting more money out of the people.
Yeah,
That they have a totally total different business model than let's say those guys. But let's hope that that other companies don't use that same business model, essentially keeping the game in perpetual beta. collecting checks.
Yeah, a serious effort. Just because a game has a release date doesn't mean they're going to make it. Obviously, Starfield did not make that release date, but you need to have an actual kind of endpoint. Otherwise, the game could be, Star Citizen.
And that's not exclusive to video games. I mean, all of us that work, we all have deadlines.
Exactly.
We all have a target date. They can get pushed back, but we do need a baseline of when things need to be done.
The one thing is that the higher ups really also need to listen to the people underneath when they say certain things like, no, that's not enough time. Because usually they have the people who are actually working on these things have a lot better of a idea as to what's going on than the actual higher ups do. And you see time and time again, they have to throw up these these things, and I'm sure it's them saying like Cyberpunk. I'm sure the guys that making Cyberpunk said, "Yo, we cannot make this shit happen. Make all of these versions of this game happen on that same date. Something's got to give." And
the higher ups said, "No, get it out.
No, we need to hit it this day." So I feel like. And usually it's a lot more in advance when they come down and say these things. But again, it has to be the higher ups looking at having the trust in the people that make these games to say, listen, you know what, maybe we need to give this one another year. And if you think about it, that's pretty much what happened to every single game that was supposed to release this year, wasn't it? Right? Single one of these guys went out there and maybe they learned from that Cyberpunk situation. Where they're like, maybe when the devs come up and say, hey, listen, they're asking for a lot here. We need more time. All right, push it to next year.
Yeah. All right.
You don't want the bad press.
No, you don't. All right, moving on here. Oh, sponsored question.
Who sponsored it?
Mr. Romudeth, very generous fella. A fella who's catching a lot of heat on Twitter. Apparently. He is sponsoring an extra question from one subset. What happened to Scorn? It's a good question. I don't know. Scorn was that HR Giger game for Xbox.
Oh, yeah. That thing looked interesting. I mean, that thing was gross looking, but yeah. I don't know.
Who knows?
I mean, it was a game that was being developed by an independent team, so you know.
I don't know. We honestly can't answer that question. So moving on.
Wasn't that shown like at E3 or
It
like
was,
a game?
yeah. It was.
They showed
it was,
two gameplay trailers for like 2 different E3s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know which one. Okay, I just searched it. Yeah, I know which one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to this.
I just checked Wikipedia and slated for release of October this year.
Interesting. All right. There's your
So
update.
this will probably mean that we're gonna get another trailer during the
during the showcase. Yeah,
or a delay.
Yeah, or you know. All right, yeah, Rami Death is paid off, man. Oh man, there's another question here, but a sponsor question for my hits, but we answered it before. What's an arcade cabinet you want, or two of them? But we've answered that before. Adam already has his behind him, you know. Yeah. So we've answered that in the past. So move on here. This next one is Marquis X. I don't know if that's a new name or not, Marquise, because I think it might be Big Daddy Marcus, right? Maybe it's him. Anyway, this question might be controversial as fuck.
Uh-oh.
What is a gamer? Is it someone who plays games or talks about them? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to say it's a game of people that actually play games.
Yeah, it's an enthusiast. That's the way I see it. It's like if you're really into it, and it's something just like people are into cars. You know, it's like, are you a driver?
I'm going to give the answer I've always given. A gamer is not just someone that plays games. It's also someone that is actively involved in the culture of gaming, right? Like, looking into the news, getting together with others. You know what I'm saying? Like, because by this metric, even though, here's the thing. Obviously, you can be a gamer if you just play games, fine. But by that metric, my mom is a gamer. She's probably more of a gamer than me. She plays Angry Birds all fucking day, you know? But I think if you want to be, like, really gamer, you got to be in that culture. You got to be immersed in it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're on a gaming podcast, you could probably call yourself a gamer. You know what I'm saying?
I think there can be a distinction between a gamer and someone who's in the game, who's entrenched into the gaming community, or a video game enthusiast.
Yeah. There can be like there could be guys who are just not even paying attention to the community, just playing a bunch of games. That's a gamer, obviously. But I'm just saying, my personal opinion, you got to take it a little bit further, you know.
Yeah. So I feel like I wouldn't necessarily call someone who only follows video games a gamer, but I would include them into the community because they are. They're pivotal to sort of the whole overarching narrative of what constitutes gaming.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna say that I know what this question's about. Over that whole controversy that happened last week with the Xbox ambassador. I'm not gonna say her name, but it's over that. See, I would consider her an Xbox fan. That's what I would consider her. Because she's really about Xbox. She doesn't play a lot of Xbox games or whatever, but she's really about the community and stuff. So obviously
maybe it's just her job, and I'm like, listen, we need you to just cover this shit.
No, she just likes Xbox. That's not her J job. She just likes Xbox,
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, All right, moving on here. Next question, also from Marcus. We used to play the same old games for months back in the day. Now it doesn't seem that way. What changed?
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. There you go. They're everywhere now. Back in the day, you only had like 10 games coming out a year or something. Like you had to just, and obviously if you were poor, you had that one game.
Yeah, that's the biggest one for us. We were broke.
We're poor, but think about it now. Even if you're poor now, $15 Game Pass, you're good to go. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You got options. You didn't have that before.
And that's why Game Pass is a pretty good deal, for people that can't, you could be a 13-year-old that, obviously probably doesn't have a job yet, whose parents are, going through tough times. And, if you can manage to get $15 a month, it's a godsend for someone that is into video games that has the option to play all these video games.
Carlos, I'm taking it a step further. get an Xbox Series S, right? $300, Xbox Game Pass, and you get to play these games if you could afford it on like your phone. Everybody has a phone now, like Blizzard's. Everybody has a phone. Come on, come on. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to tell people. Like, even though Game Pass is not for me, I can look at it objectively and go, "This is a great fucking service," which it is. But so yeah, I think that's what it is now. We have so much choice now that maybe we are a little bit more scatterbrained when it comes to games because there's just so much. It's not like it was before. Before we had to play the fuck out of that game, and that's it, because that's all we got that year. You
were lucky if Blockbuster had another one. Stock.
You had to play it. All right. Actually, by the way, that was the kind of last official question, but we got another one in here by some guy. Who is this? Eurocar? Who is this, man? I wonder if he's getting attacked on Twitter. He goes, "What's up, Throwdown crew? Hello, Mr. Eurocar.
Yo,
I was thinking of what gaming thing to do next, and I thought it would be cool for the Throwdown crew to decide my next gaming venture. Fate is in our hand, or was it his fate is in our hands? Very interesting. Which one of these should I do first? Get the platinum in Horizon Forbidden West, beat Cyberpunk, Deathloop, or Guardians of the Galaxy?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I have another option, Carlos. Considering this certain person platinum Elden Ring, but yet hasn't beat Demon Souls. How about that?
That's my vote. Beat Demon Souls.
Yeah,
Just gotta beat it. Just gotta beat it.
Man, yes, yours too. Beat Demon Souls.
Yeah, go for Demon Souls.
And
I was going to say Guardians of the Galaxy, but
no. And the thing says the majority vote getter wins out, so that's 3 already, man.
He's like, but your car is going to be like, that wasn't one of the options I
don't give
gave.
a fuck.
I'll
that
have
shit.
I'll talk with him, and I'll make sure to confirm if this is eligible.
Yeah, and then after we get the platinum of Horizon, you're almost there. Or he's almost there. Excuse me. Almost let it slip. Almost let it slip. Wait. We disclose. That's it. We got found out. Man, getting paid by Microsoft for this shit.
Oh no.
Oh man. All right, that was a good show. Good, very good show. Let us plug some things. Manny, do you have anything?
Oh, sorry. I was just joining at that point. Yes, I do. I have Godzilla versus Power Rangers, which is right now. Right now, what you can do is you can go on to IDW site and get my specific special cover, which is very limited. Yep, and that's coming up real soon. Actually, coming up this month. So yes. Hope you all pick it up, and I hope you guys enjoy that stuff, because I feel like it seems like it's a long time coming. Power Rangers versus Godzilla. That's like, how did it not happen?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It should have happened decades ago. Yeah,
well, I mean, granted, Godzilla versus Gamera should have happened decades ago.
Yeah, that's
too,
why hasn't that happened?
That's right. Yeah,
come on now.
That has never happened.
Well,
So yeah,
I'm happy there are some positive Power Rangers news.
Yeah. My boy Tommy, the other Tommy, not me. The other Tommy.
What happened to Tommy?
We'll talk about it off air.
The White Ranger got problems?
No, not Tommy. Jason, right? That was his name.
Oh, Jason.
The red one. The red one.
Ranger.
Ooh, my man's in trouble. Jason. All right.
yeah, that's what's going on in the streets.
GZDR, what are you talking about? What's happening on Austin Street? What happened?
No.
He said,
I guess maybe that's his real name.
Oh, Austin St. John.
Also saying, okay. He said also saying Gene. All right, John. Adam, you have anything to plug?
Not really. I mean, we got IMD, and there was no episode for Fear the Walking Dead. This one didn't come out. Don't know what's up with that. I don't think they said they were going to do a break, but they didn't drop, so maybe it happened. We'll see. But if you're still in Walking Dead and want to catch up on all that, we got that. I Am Negan. It's on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and of course the Coalition. So that's it.
Nice. And may as well, Carlos, do you and Chris have anything to plug?
Yeah, if you wanna get me and Chris's thoughts, along with Dana Abercrombie's, Gary Swaby's, and Richard Bailey Jr.'s thoughts on Doctor Strange and the Multitude or the Multiverse of Madness.
The multitude. I like that.
Yeah, the Multitude of Madness. That's a Freudian slip. Make sure to check out thecoalition.com and the Coalition on YouTube. Just search for Doctor Strange, and you'll be able to find it. And yeah, we went over the movie that came out, fairly recently, the latest installment of Phase 4, MCU, all things Marvel. We definitely had our thoughts. Some more positive than others, but
I have a question. I have a question about that. Do you have to have seen the first one to know what's going on? The first Doctor Strange?
No,
not really. Yeah.
no, not at all.
Or any of the other movies? Like, is there something like, oh, you need to see Black Panther to really understand?
Well,
I'll tell you
The
what's
only-
weird. What would have helped, and they shouldn't have done this, is if you watched WandaVision.
yeah.
That was my problem.
Yeah, that's my issue with it too.
That's probably the thing that you need to watch the most is WandaVision.
I watched it. That's good.
Yeah. All right. I think we're done here, man. So make sure you follow Throwdown Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where it is always popping, and we're always getting new members. Always appreciate that. Throwdown.
Thank you.
Hey, you already know. Throwdown's on every podcast app you could think of. Throwdown Show. 2 words. Throwdown Show. Throwdownshow.com to listen to previous episodes. And if you have been watching us on YouTube and you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when our premieres go live. They are usually up on Fridays and Mondays at 10:45 p.m. Eastern, all over the internet. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight... Yeah, Tony Polanco, by the way. Tony, that shit right, motherfuckers. You're going to talk shit about me in your videos. At least I got my name right. Anyway, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Deuces.
Adam Vale.
Have a good week, everybody.
And Brian Manjoma.
Yes, I do agree. The CG for Gamora is better than She-Hulk.
All right, people. We'll see you on Thursday. Peace out.
Please.
I love you, She-Hulk.